I am a hard person to please. I not only lost my husband, he abandoned his billion-dollar assets to divorce me. In the end, I almost ended my own life. On a rainy day, I was driving a limited edition sports car on the highway, chasing my husband Reed Shung. I think he divorced me to get back together with his childhood friend. I absolutely won't allow it. A flash of white light cut through the sky. I closed my eyes and collided with a truck going the wrong way. I died on the spot. I don't know how much time had passed. My soul left my body. My body feels light and weightless. I lowered my gaze. I saw Reed Shung hugging me tightly, covered in blood, crying so desperately, so heart-wrenchingly, so utterly heartbroken. No words can describe his sorrowful appearance at that moment. I finally realized how much he loved me. How could such a person cheat? But it was too late. My body kept floating upwards, moving away from him more and more. My consciousness is also getting more and more blurred. When I woke up again, I found that I had been reborn 3 days before I met Reed Shung. I was so happy that I cried. My current identity is a freshman. Just a few days into the first semester, Reed Shung is also a freshman, but he is in the business school, while I am in the medical school. In 3 days, I will save Reed Shung at the crossroads in front of the school gate, and from then on, he will like me. He was the most powerful prince of the Shung family in Beijing. In the past, he spoiled me into a princess, letting me act spoiled and arrogant. After graduation, he started his own company. I didn't take the postgraduate entrance exam, and even gave up medicine directly, just because he told me, "Baby, studying medicine is too hard. Just stay at home, I'll earn money to support you." Graduated for a year, we got married, and from then on, I became a wealthy nobody. Reed Shung is becoming richer and more outstanding. His childhood friend, Minute Linghua, has become a successful woman, and her career is going very well. Since I saw their pictures together, I felt a sense of crisis. I became suspicious and always made a big deal out of nothing. I started to feel inferior. I would often argue with Reed Shung. Finally, Reed Shung could no longer stand me. He proposed divorce. I absolutely refused. He definitely wants to get back together with Minute Linghua. Reed Shung looked at me with a very sad and sorrowful expression. "Myra Zhong, I'll give you all the money. I don't want anything. Just let me go." When I saw him about to leave, I grabbed his clothes desperately. "I will never let go. You can't leave me to find Minute Linghua." Reed Shung turned around, lowered his eyes, and his dark eyes were filled with coldness. I was stunned. This was the first time he had looked at me with such an expression. I instinctively let go of his hand. Reed Shung left without saying a single word to me. I realized it and chased after him desperately. The result was that the person died and the car was destroyed. Since I've been reborn, I will definitely not repeat the same mistakes. First of all, I must not give up studying medicine. On the first day of my rebirth, I started paying attention in class. On the second day, I couldn't hold back anymore, so I decided to take a peek at Reed Shung in the business school, as long as I didn't greet him. It shouldn't affect our meeting the next day. It's now late February, although it has already passed the spring equinox. The wind still carries a chill. There will be a big snowstorm tomorrow, and it's precisely because of this snowstorm that I will meet Reed Shung the day after tomorrow. I wrapped myself up tightly, wore a black down jacket, a black fisherman's cap, and covered my face with a black scarf, leaving only a pair of bright, expressive eyes visible. When I was leaving, I just happened to meet my roommate coming back from outside, and they thought the dorm had been robbed, almost beating me to death. Medical students know best which parts of the body hurt the most, especially for roommates who have just studied anatomy. They can hit with incredible accuracy. The general's campaign was unfinished, yet his life ended before success. Eventually, I arrived at the business school with a broken and exhausted body. After my persistent efforts, I finally found the classroom where Reed Shung was. I originally wanted to sit in the back row, as far away from him as possible. When I saw Minute Linghua by his side, I immediately sat down in the seat behind him, watching the two of them laughing and chatting happily in front of me. Although Reed Shung wasn't smiling, I still couldn't stand it in my heart. I knew I couldn't lose my temper at this moment, so I bit my lip tightly, and my scarf was almost bitten through, so my eyes kept fixed on them, my gaze becoming increasingly sorrowful. After a while, Reed Shung suddenly looked back at me. I was scared and at a loss, my mind going blank. Seeing his cold and distant look, I felt a shiver in my heart. In the past, except for the day I died, he had never looked at me with this kind of gaze, other than that day. Actually, when I first entered university, I had already heard that our school's top student, Reed Sheng, is cold-hearted and very indifferent to people. But from the day I saved him, he has always been kind to me, so now seeing this kind of gaze from him, I feel a bit nervous. I only became aware when someone pushed my right arm. I realized I had been called on by the professor and had to stand up to answer the question. I forced myself to stand up. Reed Sheng had already turned around, so I wasn't as flustered anymore. The elderly professor adjusted his glasses and said with a smile, "This student, you don't have to dress like this to get me to call on you. The classroom is warm, I'm worried you'll get ill. Next time, you can just raise your hand, and I'll definitely call on you." The classroom burst into laughter. "I think I'm sick. Why did I dress like this? It's good that it covered the face." The professor asked the students to be quiet and started asking questions. "I don't understand a thing." Finally, I asked someone to help me answer, and the professor readily agreed. I glanced at Reed Sheng. He was looking down, reading a book, and his focused expression, showing no concern for what was going on around him, made me hesitate to call out to him. I wouldn't call him either. I pulled the boy on my left. I turned around, and I regretted it. He was handsome, but looked like he was still half asleep. I thought, oh no, sure enough. This guy did not live up to expectations, not even a single word. I got so angry I pushed him away. The result was that he turned over and went to sleep again. I had no choice but to confess to the professor, and the professor didn't trouble me. Just at the end, he asked one question. "Student, I'd like to ask, has Reed Sheng, the great talent of our business school, ever wronged you? Otherwise, why does he look at you with such a sorrowful gaze?" No wonder the professor can see this. "It's just that I have failed to live up to your talented scholar." Reed Sheng remained unmoved. Minute Linghua looked back at me, her eyes full of inquiry. I naturally didn't give her a good face. Just when I didn't know how to respond, the school bell rang, and the matter was naturally put aside. Not long after class, Reed Sheng and Minute Linghua walked out of the classroom together, looking at their backs and hearing the classmates discussing that they were a perfect match. I felt defeated instantly. The inferiority complex from the past was magnified at this moment. I even had the thought of giving up on Reed Sheng, but this thought was quickly extinguished. I could never give up on Reed Sheng. Just as I was about to leave, my left arm was grabbed. The boy who was just sleeping had already lifted his head and was looking at me with half-closed eyes. "Do you think you can just walk away after breaking up with me?" I tried to struggle free, but it didn't work, so I had to act innocent, handsome. "Did you make a mistake? I didn't touch you. You might be confused from sleep, projecting something that happened in your dream into reality. I'm not an idiot. I can tell the difference between reality and a dream." The boy, without me noticing, suddenly pulled off my scarf. Then he grabbed my chin and examined me from all angles. I slapped him twice. The boy was momentarily stunned, then exclaimed in disbelief, "How dare you hit me? Do you know who I am?" I shook my head and turned to ask the girl beside me, "Who is this person?" The girl said in my ear, "His name is Lee Mui, a famous bully who takes advantage of his family's wealth and power to bully people everywhere." The girl said that and ran away. I didn't say a word, grabbed the phone and bag on the table and prepared to make a quick exit. However, just as I turned around, my collar was grabbed. Shortly after, my phone was taken away. I had no choice but to turn back. Lee Mui was holding my phone screen up to my face, which unlocked it. I saw that he had saved a phone number in my phone. I was speechless. "Bro, your pickup line is too direct, just entering the phone number. Did you get my permission?" Lee Mui threw the phone to me. "Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. You'll accompany me to our college's dance. Be my partner. The location of the dance I'll tell you later." I was full of questions. "Bro, are you not fully awake, or are you still half asleep? Do we know each other? Why should I be your partner?" Lee Mui looked at me with a sinister expression and threatened, "You should now know what kind of person I am. I always take revenge. If you want to continue staying at this school, be my partner tomorrow night." I shivered. I am not yet Reed Sheng's wife. But facing this kind of authority, I can only make a temporary compromise, survive until tomorrow night. And after tomorrow, I will save Reed Sheng. Then I won't be afraid of Lee Mui anymore. I nodded to him and emphasized it particularly. "I promise you, but you can't touch me, let alone kiss me." Lee Mui made a sound of disapproval. Relax, I'm not interested in a tablet. If it wasn't for the fact that I happen to be short of people here, would I even bother to ask you? You don't have a chest, you don't have a butt. The only thing is you're a bit good looking. I clenched my fist. I wanted to hold back, but I couldn't. I roared, I have a flat chest. I'm proud of it. I save materials for the country. Men without taste will never understand the benefits of a flat chest. If you like big butts, why don't you go for a pig? Their butts are round and plump, and they have a little tail. How sexy. Perfect for you. After venting, I immediately ran away. It's good that Lee Mui didn't catch up. Leaving the classroom, I began to regret. I shouldn't have acted on impulse. But in my previous life, I was spoiled by Reed Shung beyond reason. I really can't swallow this anger. Moreover, in my previous life, Reed Shung was always fond of my chest, never once complaining about its size. I won't allow anyone to insult my chest. Insulting it is equivalent to insulting Reed Shung's taste. Back in the dormitory, my roommates were discussing school gossip, and they mentioned that Reed Shung will also attend the business school dance tomorrow night. I became excited again. On the day of the dance, I started getting ready and doing my makeup from noon. Finally, I just wore a light makeup, a black dress, and put on a black veil on my head. It's better to stay low-key. If Reed Shung notices me, and I end up saving him again tomorrow, I'm afraid he might suspect me of stalking him or doing it on purpose. I don't want any extra trouble. When Lee Mui saw my outfit, his look of disdain was obvious. If you're a flat panel, then you really think you are one. Now you've even added a black cloth, making you uneven, and put a black window screen on your face. Someone might think you're the Black Widow coming to life. I take a deep breath and grit my teeth. I have to hold it in. Reed Shung should be here soon. I can't lose my temper. Seeing Lee Mui raise his elbow, I reluctantly loop my arm around his, entering the ballroom, seeing girls in all pink dresses and boys in white suits. My black dress stands out. I feel out of place, and I want to run away. Lee Mui didn't tell me I had to wear pink. This guy must have done it on purpose. At this moment, the beautiful girls and handsome boys in the hall are all looking at me, and one of the gazes catches my attention. I looked closely. Reed Shung's sculpted face came into my view. He was wearing a white casual suit that fit perfectly and had a good texture, revealing his great figure and long legs, longer than my life. At that moment, he looked like a prince high above, noble and distant, making people approach. His eyes were very cold, even colder than last time. I even felt a chill. And my arm hairs stood on end. I turned to leave, but Lee Mui grabbed my arm. Reed Shung's eyes turned cold enough to kill. I was stunned and wanted to find out more, but he had already looked away. Minute Linghua, who was standing beside him, kept staring at me with a complex expression that I couldn't understand at first. The dance is about to start. I tried to stay in the corner to minimize my presence. Unfortunately, someone wasn't willing to. Lee Mui grabbed my wrist and pulled me to the center of the dance floor, putting his arm around my waist and dancing with me. I can't dance at all. I keep stepping on his shoes. Sister, these shoes are limited edition worldwide. Take it easy. You can't afford to break them. Brother, I can't dance at all. Let go of your dog's paws. Lee Mui suddenly curled his lips. I'll teach you to dance. I was about to say no, when I saw Reed Shung holding Minute Linghua's hand as they entered the dance floor. I immediately changed my mind. After that, I didn't hear a single word Lee Mui said. My attention was entirely on that pair of childhood friends. Minute Linghua was wearing a pink, sexy low-cut evening dress. Her graceful figure was evident, with a prominent chest and a curvaceous back, which was exactly the type Lee Mui liked. Her appearance was of course not to be mentioned, bright and elegant, a real beauty. Standing next to Reed Shung, they were truly a beautiful couple, like a pair of matching jade ornaments. Moreover, her dance moves were very graceful. Unlike me, I can't learn it no matter how hard I try. In my past life, Reed Shung taught me many times, and I imitated the way of idol dramas, standing on his feet. Reed Shung seemed to like this, and he always hugged me and danced for a long time. Once his feet were even swollen from me standing on them, but he still enjoyed it endlessly. Thinking about this, my eyes gradually became warm. I really miss the Reed Shung from my past life. I couldn't help but silently cry when I saw him now dancing with his childhood friend. My inferiority complex resurfaced, and my tears became even more intense. Lee Mui lifted my chin, his eyes confused. With a flicker of surprise, "Why are you crying? You've ruined my shoes, so I should be the one crying." I shoved him hard and ran out without looking back. I walked aimlessly around the campus. I finally arrived by the artificial lake, staring blankly at the frozen surface. It had been snowing all day. Now the snow seems to be getting heavier, and the road is covered with white snow. I look up, and under the streetlight, I see countless snowflakes falling down, landing on my face. Only after my tears dried did I lower my head, and my mouth was full of snow water. Although I wore thermal underwear, I was still very cold, and I decided to go back to the dormitory before freezing to death. Because the ground was too slippery, I had barely moved when my body fell towards the lake. At the last moment, my two arms were suddenly grabbed by someone, and my body was pulled back to where it was. After regaining my balance, I immediately turned around. When I saw Reed Shung and Minute Linghua each grabbing one of my arms, my mind was already overwhelmed. Reed Shung first coldly let go of my arm. I almost fell again, and Minute Linghua caught me in time. She asked concernedly, "Are you okay?" "I feel worse than if I had eaten a fly," looking at her gentle, sincere, and unguarded eyes. I had never known her before, and our interactions were also very limited. Now it seems she is indeed a good person. While I seem more like a malicious female supporting character trying to break them up, Minute Linghua, seeing that I didn't speak, asked again. I hadn't even had a chance to speak. Minute Linghua was pulled away by Reed Shung. I successfully fell face first. I was knocked out. But seeing Reed Shung pull another woman away left me even more confused. This man dared to leave me and go with another woman. I can't control myself anymore, striking the ground forcefully, continuously spouting vulgarities. I cursed every organ of Reed Shung, and also cursed his 206 bones and 639 muscles. I had originally wanted to curse his various systems and tissues, but my mouth was frozen and I couldn't open or close it. I silently got up and hurried back to the dormitory. In this life, I don't want to freeze to death, although I vowed last night never to talk to Reed Shung again, that dog of a man. But now I am standing at the crossroads of the school. In half an hour, Reed Shung will pass through here. I keep telling myself, I came here for nothing but Reed Shung's money. Being with him, I can become a rich woman and no longer have to study medicine. After successfully convincing myself, I then felt at ease waiting for Reed Shung to appear. As the time of our meeting drew closer, I began to feel nervous. My heart raced, my whole body trembled, my lips were trembling, and I even felt some difficulty in breathing. I kept taking deep breaths to relieve my tension. In my previous life, I saved Reed Shung actually by accident. Because the road was slippery, when I was walking forward, my foot was tripped, and the inertia of my body made me crash forward, just knocking over Reed Shung who was crossing the road. In reality, I knocked him flying for a distance, and finally I fell on top of him. Reed Shung was completely unaware. He only saw me suddenly rushed to save him. After I tackled him, a car happened to zoom past us. If I hadn't tackled him, with the speed of that car, he would have definitely died. I even feel a bit scared for him afterwards. Now that I know what's going to happen, I plan to try to knock him down as early as possible. If the force of my knockdown is different from the previous life, it's better to be strong, so that I can knock him far away. If the force is not enough, we might both be crushed into meat paste right then and there, so it's better to be careful. When I saw Reed Shung and Minute Linghua together, my brain crashed. This is different from the past life. Is this guy trying to die together with his childhood friend? I really want to let them be together, but I can't bring myself to do it. I plan to save them both together, standing in a place similar to the one from my previous life. When the time is right, I start moving forward. I was tripped again, as if from a previous life. I rushed forward with my arms open, intending to embrace both of them. But it didn't go as planned. After all, my memory isn't that detailed. The position I started from had a slight deviation from the past life. Therefore, the route I rushed out on also shifted. The result was that I only knocked one person away, and then I ended up on top of her. Minute Linghua was looking at me in disbelief, with me on top of her. After I saw the person who was rescued, I didn't have time to regret. I quickly turned back to look at Reed Shung. A black car was speeding past his body. The black car quickly disappeared. Reed Shung wasn't knocked flying, but he still fell down. I crawled and rolled to his side, and asked with concern, "Are you okay? Did you get hurt?" Reed Shung didn't answer, but just looked at me coldly. his thin lips tightly pressed, his eyes deep, making it impossible to tell what he was thinking. I'm about to go crazy. How did it come to this? Not only did I fail to save my husband, but I also ended up saving his rival. There's nothing more tragic than this in the world. Just hit me and kill me, if Reed Shung can't be my husband. What's the point of me living? But I still wanted to try once more, so I carefully said, I just saved you. Reed Shung raised his left finger and pointed behind me, speaking quietly. You saved her, not me. I was shocked. Reed Shung was so direct, I saw his palm was scraped. I immediately grabbed his wrist and said with great concern, your hand is injured, I'll take you to the hospital. Reed Shung tried to pull his hand back, but couldn't. I tightly embraced his hand, as if holding on to the only lifeline, ignoring the cold radiating from his body, and cried out with a trembling voice, let me take you to the hospital. Honey, the ground is very dirty, and your wound definitely needs a tetanus shot. If you don't get it in time, if you really get tetanus, you'll have locked jaws, foam coming out of your mouth, convulsions, and your limbs will go stiff. Eventually, you'll suffocate. The way you look, if you die in such a horrible way, would you be okay with that? You'll definitely die with your eyes open. So come with me to the hospital. Reed Shung accused step by step. What did you just call me? Oh no, I just said it out of habit. I called you honey. I can only play dead, continuing to cry and persuade. You see, I didn't even call you anything. And you've already started hallucinating. Let's go to the hospital. Or else if you keep hallucinating, you might mistake me for your wife. That would be a problem. Although I would be more than willing, it's your hallucination. I hope when you'll think about the question of letting me be your wife. My chin was suddenly lifted by Reed Shung. He squinted his eyes, which reflected intimidation. Myra Jong, I think you're the one who should go to the hospital. You should let the doctor treat your delusions. He said that, and then very disgustedly pulled away from me. I froze in place, looking at him in disbelief. This guy has really become bold. Not only was he so rude to me, but he also looked down on me. Wait a minute, he just seemed to call my name. The more I think about it, the more I feel something is wrong. He has no reason to know my name. Did he have a crush on me before, so after I saved him in the past life, he quickly fell for me? But that's not right either. Looking at Reed Shung's current bad behavior towards me, it doesn't seem like he's crushing on me. Reed Shung has already stood up. I could only get up and look up to ask, Reed Shung, how do you know my name? To my surprise, this guy actually raised his chin and looked down at me. You're not worthy to know. I really want to curse. Why does his arrogant attitude make me so angry? What exactly happened to him? He wasn't like this before, was he? This is his true nature. My shoulder was suddenly tapped. I turned around. It was Minute Linghua. I almost forgot about her. She pointed at the road and said, we're still on the road, isn't it safer to move to the side of the road to chat? As soon as he finished speaking, a car sped past us. I grabbed one with each hand, pulling them both to the side of the road. As soon as we stopped, Reed Shung coldly let go of me. Minute Linghua is looking at me, her eyes smiling. Myra, can I call you that? This world has finally gone mad. My rival in love is looking at me with tender eyes, acting like she wants to be my good sister. I really want to tell her, sister, don't be so silly. I'm the one who's going to take your childhood friend, and when Reed Shung becomes my husband, it will be you who cries. I forced a fake smile. You can call me that. What's your name? Minute Linghua gave a long self-introduction, detailing how many certificates she had received in elementary school, and even told me to call her big sister. Finally, she told me, sister, the reason why we know your name is because of Lee Mui. Last night, when you pushed him away, maybe your strength was too strong, and he fell down on the ground. He got angry and started cursing. Finally, he took the microphone and shouted your name no less than 50 times. Reed and I found it annoying and left the party. Later, we met you at the artificial lake. At first, we thought you were trying to commit suicide and rushed to save you. Fortunately, you weren't. I had nothing to say. What made me even more speechless was Minute Linghua's next move. She actually hugged me, and since she was taller than me, she embraced me in her arms, and whispered gently in my ear, sister, you just saved me. From now on we are family. I will be good to you for a lifetime. You can tell me anything you're going through. I will definitely help you solve it. Before she finished speaking, she was dragged away by Reed Shung. Yes, she didn't make a mistake. Reed Shung dragged her away like a chicken. Although Minute Linghua is very beautiful, this posture is indeed indecent and seriously affects her looks. Reed Shung really has no sense of tenderness. I even feel sorry for this love rival. Wait, shouldn't the person who should be pitied now be me? Reed Shung is once again taking another girl away. I also failed to save him. It's over, it's over. I won't be able to become Reed Shung's wife. I can't be a rich housewife anymore. I don't want to be a hardworking medical student. I definitely don't want to become a bald girl early. So I can't give up. It's okay if it didn't work out this time. I can take the initiative to stage a heroic rescue scene. After all, in our previous lives we've done everything. I know his body like the back of my hand, even that there's a mole next to his little brother. I know. I'm not afraid of not being able to get him. The next week, I must have overestimated myself. I haven't even met Reed Shung a few times, let alone saved him. At the same time, I also underestimated Minute Linghua's enthusiasm for me. She often comes to the classroom to look for me. Sometimes I was invited to have dinner with her, giving me a chance to meet Reed Shung. Facing the enthusiasm and sincerity of my love rival, I not only added her WeChat, but also temporarily accepted her as an older sister. I did all of this just to meet Reed Shung. Although it was a bit of a betrayal to Minute Linghua, love has to be fought for by oneself, and I will not actively sabotage her relationship with Reed Shung. If Reed Shung really likes Minute Linghua and becomes her boyfriend, I will no longer chase after Reed Shung, and I will stay away from them. On Sunday, Minute Linghua invited me to a big meal, and I even dressed up specially. As a result, Reed Shung didn't even glance at me once. He was focused on eating all the time. I was so angry that I almost broke the chopsticks. Facing him like this, I must do something, otherwise I will never be his wife. I started to peel the shrimp for him. In the past life, he used to peel them for me. Now it's my turn to take care of him. With zero shrimp peeling skills, I successfully threw the shrimp, which landed right next to Reed Shung's mouth and fell down. I quickly took a tissue to help him wipe his mouth, but before I could touch it, he blocked me. Don't he touch me. Seeing the disdain in his eyes, I suddenly became angry. That dead man dared to look down on his wife. I stood up, grabbed his chin with one hand, and used the other to wipe his mouth with a tissue. Reed Shung didn't seem to expect me to be so bold, and he was stunned, allowing me to do as I pleased. By the time I finished wiping, he finally realized. His face turned pale, his lips tightly pressed, his eyes staring straight at me. He couldn't even say a word. I specifically cut a piece of white radish for him and said in a sarcastic tone, "Mr. Shung, have a piece of radish to clear your air, otherwise it's not good for your health if you get too choked up." Reed Shung was really angry at me. His lips were trembling. I raised a smug smile. After all, we've been married for several years. No matter how his temperament changes, I can still handle him. Miss Minute Linghua suddenly laughed and gave me the thumbs up. I actually like her, but she's my love rival. Reed Shung didn't eat the radish I put in front of him. After dinner, Minute Linghua went to answer the phone, leaving me and Reed Shung in the room to wait for her. Seeing her leave, I took the opportunity to sit on Reed Shung's lap and tightly wrapped my arms around his neck. Reed Shung was naturally very angry. I didn't give him a chance to speak. I cupped his face with both hands and said seriously, "Reed Shung, remember this. I am your wife, the mother of your future children. You can't be so harsh with me. And you can't be so indifferent. You should try to understand me and accept me. You will definitely fall in love with me. I give you 5 seconds to get off me right now." I leaned on his chest, acting cute and soft. "Husband, hold me." In the past, whenever I said that to him, he would always pin me on the bed and do it non-stop. But now, he just flipped me over. I sat on the ground, rubbing my butt, and started cursing. "Reed Shung, do you have water in your brain? This soft and fragrant wife, you should be hugging and kissing her tightly, but you pushed me away. You really are sick." Reed Shung looked down at me from above. His eyes had no warmth, and he threatened me word by word. "Myra Jong, don't let me see you again, or I'll not be nice to you." Seeing him about to leave, I didn't say a word and hugged his leg, crying out loudly, "Reed Shung, you are ungrateful. You are heartless. You abandoned your wife. You played with me and then discarded me. You." Reed Shung interrupted me. "Myra Jong, let go." I tightened my arm, hugging his leg tightly, with a determined tone. "Unless you let me continue to follow you in the future, I will never let go. Even if you amputate your own leg, I won't let go. Reed Shung fell silent, then said ominously, "That's what you said. I'll call someone to amputate your arm. You have to let go whether you want to or not." I really wanted to slap myself for saying anything, but I was sure Reed Shung wouldn't call, so I continued to complain. Less than 10 minutes. 4 men in black entered the room, one of them holding a saw. Oh my God, Reed Shung is really coming through with this. I immediately let go of him, but my arm was held down on the chair by him. I glared at him. "Reed Shung, are you daring?" "Why wouldn't I dare? Even if I killed you, I would be fine. No one in Beijing would dare to stop me. I'm really scared, because Reed Shung right now is terrifying. His eyes are sinister and fierce, like a madman, after marrying him for many years. I didn't realize he had this side to him. I feel so failed." Tears started to fall down without me realizing it. The more I thought about it, the more upset I became, and I burst into tears. Reed Shung let go of my arm, crouched down, looked at me face to face, and frowned. I rushed into his arms, as if from a previous life. I rested my head on his chest. I could clearly feel his body was stiff, but he didn't push me away. I cried while feeling his heartbeat. Reed Shung quickly pulled me away. I curled my lips. "Reed Shung, admit it. You've already fallen for me. I just counted your heartbeat, 120 times a minute. You don't have heart disease. There's only one explanation. You've fallen in love with me." Reed Shung was first stunned, then said with an emotionless face, "I'm sorry to disappoint you. Even a pig that's been hit on the head will have a heartbeat this fast. Maybe even 121 times. I was so angry that I pointed at him with my finger. "Reed Shung, why do you think I'm not as good as a pig? Why is it 121 times and I'm 120 times? Is the pig as pretty as me? Is it as cute as me? Can it marry you?" Reed Shung looked at me like I was an idiot, then left without looking back, looking confused with his bodyguard. Minute Linghua, who had called me back, quickly helped me up and asked what had happened. I made up a random excuse and told her that Reed Shung had left first. She didn't seem to have much of a reaction, but instead asked seriously, "Myra, tomorrow is my birthday. Can you come to my birthday party?" I have no reason to refuse. She hugged me into her arms and whispered in my ear, "I will have the driver come to pick you up from school the day after tomorrow." I nodded. Although she had hugged me many times before, I still wasn't used to it, being hugged by my rival, which felt a bit awkward. I don't know why she loves hugging so much. On my birthday night, I was taken to Minute Linghua's house. I found out that her family was actually so rich. She lives directly in a castle. Minute Linghua was wearing a white low-cut long dress, like a sexy princess, not long after the banquet began. She went to the performance stage and played the piano for everyone, and the banquet hall soon filled with beautiful melodies. Although I couldn't understand it, I could tell it was a sad song. Minute Linghua suddenly looked in my direction, her eyes full of depth and a bit of sadness. I felt strange, and when I turned around, I found Reed Shung behind me. Following his gaze, I saw Minute Linghua. It turned out that the two were looking at each other, exchanging loving glances. I looked at Reed Shung again, dressed in a black suit. He looked like a prince, staring at his princess without taking his eyes off her. Even the clothes are couples' outfits. I felt a surge of pain. My inferiority complex reached its peak at this moment. I suddenly felt short of breath and desperately wanted to take in some fresh air. I ran away in a hurry from the banquet hall. Finally, I ran to the edge of the backyard swimming pool and was breathing heavily when I finally caught my breath. I stared at the swimming pool, had a fierce argument in my mind. I decided to try one last time. If I don't succeed, I will give up on Reed Shung. I will let him go free. Maybe he will be happier without me involved in his life. Minute Linghua is so excellent, they will definitely be very happy. If I succeed, I will never let go. Heaven does not grant all one's wishes. I finally got to wait for Reed Shung to come to the poolside. My original plan was to push him into the water. He couldn't swim from a young age for some reason, so I would jump in to save him. Just at the critical moment, I don't know who was a bad person to throw a banana peel on the ground. My foot slipped, and I fell into the swimming pool. I only remembered that I couldn't swim either. I was desperately struggling in the water, but my body kept sinking. There were many people by the pool. The first one to jump in and save me was Reed Shung, who couldn't swim, although I was very moved. But I really want to say, brother, since we can't swim, don't come to the party. You can't save me. Why did you jump in? It's better to let someone who can swim come and save me. I can still save this life. Finally, the two of us were pulled ashore. I was okay. But Reed Shung was not wide awake. It's truly a blessing from heaven. Although I'm a poor student, I do know how to perform CPR. I crawled and climbed to his side. My right hand felt his carotid artery to check his pulse. My left ear pressed against his nose to feel his breathing. Damn. He has both a pulse and breathing. He doesn't need CPR. He just fainted. I planned to play along with the plan. I pinched his nose with my left hand and supported the back of his neck with my right. I kissed his lips without hesitation, pretending to blow into his mouth. In our past life, we kissed all the time, and I kissed without any pressure. I blew 2 breaths, then started pressing his chest. Of course I didn't use all my strength. This was repeated 5 times. Sister, no need to press. He has a pulse again. Minute Linghua's voice sounded from the side. I didn't even notice when she arrived. Being discovered, I had no choice but to give up. As I turned around, Reed Shung suddenly opened his eyes. I immediately threw myself onto him and cried out with all my might. Reed Shung, thank goodness you're okay. I finally brought you back to life. It's not in vain that I did 5 cycles. My arms are almost broken, wailing. If you press a few more times, I won't drown. But I'll definitely be pressed to death. Reed Shung's gloomy voice drifted into my ears. Before I could even look at him, he flipped me over. He patted his back and left. I sat on the ground in a daze. Reed Shung, this annoying man pushed me away again. I want to cry. I failed. Reed Shung didn't fall in love with me. He doesn't want me to be his wife. Finally, I was taken to Minute Linghua's room in a daze. I changed out of my wet clothes. I put on the light blue dress Minute Linghua gave me. I didn't expect it to fit so well. The dress has good quality. It must be expensive. Minute Linghua looked at me from head to toe, her eyes focused. I felt embarrassed by her gaze. Thank you for the dress. Minute Linghua didn't say anything, just gently helped me dry my hair. I felt very sorry for her. She took care of me like an older sister, but I was always thinking about stealing her man. I think it's time to give up on Reed Shung, but I'm so sad, I can't let him go. Tears started to flow continuously. Minute Linghua lifted my face. No one asked me why I was crying. She just held me in her arms. I leaned against her chest. Emotions erupted instantly. I cried more and more intensely. When I finally cried myself out, I looked up and saw that my tears had soaked her shirt. I whispered, I'm sorry, I've stained your shirt. Minute Linghua shook her head and picked up a cigarette and a lighter from the table. She leaned casually against the table, looked down, and lit the cigarette. Her movements were very skilled. I was slightly surprised. Didn't expect Minute Linghua to have this side. Now she is coldly beautiful and full of mystery. She is completely different from before in the ballroom. I walked up to her and hesitated before saying, smoking is not good. Minute Linghua curled her lips. It's okay, I just smoke occasionally. I bit my lips and decided to ask, do you like Reed Shung? Minute Linghua didn't answer me, but grabbed the back of my neck and pulled me to face her. She blew some smoke in my face. I instinctively closed my eyes and coughed a few times, exclaimed angrily, you let me breathe secondhand smoke. Minute Linghua seemed very happy. Idiot. This cigarette is not poisonous. I think she is sick. I don't want to give up on Reed Shung again. Minute Linghua still held the back of my neck. Her fingers kept rubbing my skin. I got chills from her. Let go of my neck. It's tickling me. Minute Linghua raised an eyebrow. I'll help you chase Reed Shung. Huh, I thought I had misheard, so I asked again. What do you mean? Aren't you into Reed Shung? I'll help you chase him. I was instantly stunned. My rival wants to help me chase his man. This world is indeed crazy. I hesitated and asked, don't you like him anymore? Minute Linghua's expression was mocking. I won't tell you. After saying that, she let go of my neck and walked out without looking back. I was speechless. Can't you just stop being pretentious? But since everyone else has taken the initiative to help chase after him, I can't refuse, so Reed Shung will still be my husband for this lifetime. My mood immediately improved. Minute Linghua not only kept her promise but also did her job diligently. In the following days, she often created opportunities for me to be alone with Reed Shung. For example, she would invite both of us out and then find a way to slip away. For example, she would invite both me and Reed Shung to her house, then leave, leaving the two of us alone in a room. Or she would take me to a villa near Reed Shung's school. In my previous life, in my second year of college, I moved in with Reed Sheng. That night we got into bed, we were both each other's first. So we had a special feeling for this place. After graduation, we lived here for another year until we moved out after getting married. Coming back to this villa again, I feel like I'm in a different world. Minute Linghua, as usual, quickly made an excuse to leave. Reed Sheng is sitting on the sofa looking at the computer. I don't need to look to know he is researching stocks. I know him like the back of my hand. Just like this villa, every corner here is familiar to me. I found the coffee machine and made him a cup of coffee, adding a little milk. This was his favorite drink in his previous life. I sat beside him and handed him the coffee with both hands. "Husband, it's time for coffee." I said it out of habit, but I don't plan to change my words. Reed Sheng seemed already accustomed. He looked at me without any expression. "Myra Zhong, do you know what you look like right now?" I was taken aback. "What are you thinking?" "It reminds me of Pan Jinlian giving Wu Dalang medicine." Reed Sheng now even jokes with me. It's a big improvement. I handed the coffee to his mouth and smiled. "Fan Jinlian and Wu Dalang are a couple. So, you're indirectly admitting that I'm your wife, husband. Next time you can just say it directly instead of beating around the bush." Reed Sheng could only manage to say one word. I held the coffee to his mouth again and complained. "Reed Sheng, drink it quickly, my hand is so tired." Reed Sheng finally took the coffee and took a sip. His face immediately turned very grim. "Did you add milk?" I nodded without thinking. "It seems you really want to be Wu Song's wife." "I'm allergic to coffee with milk. Are you trying to kill me?" I jumped up and shouted. "How could that be? You've had it so many times before and nothing happened. How could you be allergic to it now?" Reed Sheng frowned. "I only drank it once, and since I had an allergy, I haven't drunk it again." "How can you say it's multiple times? I had a heart attack." I couldn't tell him it was from a past life. I could only ask him, "Are you really allergic to it?" Reed Sheng suddenly looked embarrassed and quickly stood up, turning around and running upstairs. I touched my chin thoughtfully. In the past life, every time Reed Sheng drank the coffee I made for him, he would go to the bathroom. Is it because of an allergy that he went to the bathroom? But why didn't Reed Sheng tell me? Instead he said he likes to drink. I suddenly remembered a joke he once told me. "Dear, even if it's poison, I will drink it without hesitation if you make it for me." It was not just a joke. The coffee I made was really toxic for Reed Sheng. He would always smile and drink it down. Reed Sheng from the past truly fell deeply in love with me. I couldn't help but cry again. Reed Sheng came back with a damp body. He must have taken a shower. I immediately wrapped my arms around his neck and cried, "I'm sorry, I made you suffer. I'm not a qualified wife." Reed Sheng pushed me away with a dark face and threatened, "If you keep talking nonsense, leave my villa right now." I pouted, wronged, looking at him with teary eyes. Seeing me like that, Reed Sheng looked very annoyed. And finally he opened his arms. "You're only allowed to hold me for a minute." I was overjoyed. I threw myself into his arms, tightly wrapped my arms around his waist, and rested my face on his chest. Reed Sheng has softened towards me. His heart is beating so fast, he must have a crush on me. I'm so excited I can't control myself, because I can soon be Reed Sheng's wife again. I really want to kiss him. I went ahead and kissed him right away. Reed Sheng looked shocked at me. This should be his first real kiss, so he's definitely going to be confused. I'm different. In my previous life I kissed Reed Sheng dozens of times every day, and now my kissing skills are very good. Reed Sheng was shocked and wanted to push me away. I tightly hugged his neck and deepened the kiss. Reed Sheng's body paused for a moment. I took advantage of his distraction and began to explore his mouth without restraint. His lips never moved at all. Kissing requires cooperation from both people to feel anything. I now feel like I'm kissing a piece of wood. I can't go on. I let go of him, and his face indeed looked very unpleasant. I made him angry again. I shouldn't have been so hasty. I should have waited a bit longer. "Open your mouth." A deep and slightly raspy voice came out from Reed Sheng's tightly pressed thin lips. I naturally opened my mouth and looked at him in confusion. The next second, my neck was grabbed, and Reed Sheng leaned down toward me. His lips were kissed by him at the same time, and his mouth was taken over. This time, I was shocked. What was this guy Reed Sheng trying to do? I kissed him, but he remained unmoved. When I stopped kissing him, he started kissing me again, so intensely. After a while, I became weak all over and dizzy from his kisses. "Reed Sheng, Why does it feel like he's better at kissing than he was in my past life? Even though it's his first time, my tongue is numb. And I'm a bit moved. In my past life, I would have sex with Reed Sheng many times every day. After rebirth, I have been celibate for a long time. I unconsciously leaned towards Reed Sheng. My body also started moving. Reed Sheng suddenly stopped and pulled me away forcefully. Myra Jong, what are you doing? I'm just being honest. I want to do bad things with you in bed. Result, I was thrown into the bathroom by Reed Sheng. He told me to take a cold shower to sober up. I almost choked on blood from anger. If it wasn't for this man in my past who always forced me to do it, could I be so unsatisfied? When he wants to do it later, I'll show him how to deal with me. After taking a shower, I walked out of the bathroom naked and into the living room. Reed Sheng's first look at me resulted in a nosebleed. I laughed proudly. Reed Sheng definitely couldn't resist my body. In my past life, he loved to look at my body. Every part of it was kissed by him. I should have used this move earlier. It's not too late now. I hadn't even gloated for 2 minutes when Reed Sheng wrapped me in a cocoon with the blanket and threw me on the bed. He also tied the blanket with the bedsheet. I lost my ability to take care of myself. Reed Sheng, are you crazy? I'm giving you a favor, and you don't appreciate it. Then you repay me with betrayal. You're not a man. Let me go. As soon as I saw the cloth in his hand, I shut up. Reed Sheng eventually didn't silence me. Then he sat next to me, focusing on the computer, while I lay in bed looking at him with resentment. Also harmonious, because I had drunk a bottle of drink, I couldn't hold it for long and wanted to go to the bathroom. Reed Sheng, untie me. I need to go to the bathroom. No way, hurry up. I'm really in a rush. Unless you promise me you'll never do this again, I'll let you go. Okay, I swear I'll never let you see my naked body again. Is that good enough? No way, I'm going crazy. Then tell me how I should swear. You need my permission before you can see my naked body. What does he mean? Why does this sound so awkward? I don't care anymore. Hurry up and make the vow. After Reed Sheng untied me, I immediately lifted the quilt and ran away. I glanced at Reed Sheng with the corner of my eye. He had another nosebleed again. He deserves it. After using the toilet, I didn't mess around anymore and put my clothes on properly. Reed Sheng quickly sent me out of the villa. I think I really angered Reed Sheng this time. He doesn't talk to me much anymore and even avoids me. I planned to block him at the business school. I didn't manage to block him, but I ended up being blocked by Lee Mui. Finally, he took me up the mountain to race. After 1 round, he actually came in last place. I can't stand it. I kicked him into the passenger seat and sat in the driver's seat. Lee Mui looked doubtful. Can you drive? Joke. I died because I was driving a sports car in my past life. Driving a sports car is not a big deal, right? Fasten your seatbelt, wear your helmet, hold on to the handrail. Today I'll show you what a real race car driver is like. The beautiful woman on the track gives a command. I step on the accelerator. The blue sports car shoots off instantly. It started off fine. I was doing it with ease. Later, I became a bit abnormal. My mind kept flashing with the scene of my previous life's car accident. The result is, I and Lee Mui fell off the cliff with the car. I thought I would die, because I was thrown out of the car when it rolled down the cliff, but I was miraculously unharmed, except for some minor scratches on my body. It's true that the life after rebirth is strong. Lee Mui didn't have such good luck. One of his legs was stuck. The car is leaking oil and could explode at any moment. Lee Mui said to me, "You should go. The car will explode soon." I didn't speak, but pulled him for a long time. Still couldn't pull his leg out. I turned around and left. A voice of Lee Mui came from behind, full of disbelief. "Damn, you really left. You're a heartless woman." I searched for a while and finally found a thicker stick. I sighed with relief to see that the car had not exploded yet. "Hurry over there." Lee Mui didn't expect me to come back. Besides confusion and shock, there was also a look of emotion I couldn't understand in his eyes. "Why did you come back?" Lee Mui's voice was already a bit weak. I didn't have time to respond to him. I forced the stick under the seat, trying to use the principle of leverage to free his leg. Heaven does not disappoint those who work hard. I finally succeeded. As soon as his leg came out, I embraced his body and strained to pull him out of the car. At least he isn't fat. I managed to pull him out of the car before it exploded and took him to a safe place. Seeing the car explode, I was still in shock. This life is really lucky. Lee Mui now looks pale, clearly showing signs of anemia. I lifted his pant leg. and there was a wound on his lower leg bleeding. I quickly tore off my clothes to bandage it. Although I was a failure in my previous life, I still knew how to bandage a simple wound and apply pressure to stop the bleeding. Not long after the bleeding stopped, Lee Mui asked weakly, "Why did you come back to save me?" I replied seriously, "It was because of me that you fell off the cliff. How could I not save you? Don't you fear being blown up?" "Of course I'm afraid, but I've already decided, either we both live or we both die." Lee Mui was confused. "Why? Do you like me and want to commit suicide with me?" I rolled my eyes. "You're overthinking it. If only I lived, I would spend my whole life in guilt. And living so painfully is better to die early and be reborn sooner." Lee Mui finally gave me a thumbs up, because the sports car had an automatic alarm. Soon a group of people came looking for us. When I saw Reed Sheng's figure, I immediately started crying. Minute Linghua also came, and she ran to my side very worriedly. "Myra, are you hurt somewhere?" I shook my head. "I'm fine." She wiped my tears and hugged me to comfort me. "Good, don't be afraid, I'm here." I cried even louder. Suddenly, a force separated us. I was a bit confused, and my tears stopped abruptly. It was Reed Sheng who pulled Minute Linghua aside. Minute Linghua seemed very angry. Reed Sheng has been staring at me, his eyes deep and intense. I understood what he meant. I just knew that I felt very unsafe right now. I opened my arms and said to him, "Reed Sheng, I'm scared. Hold me." Reed Sheng took a big step forward and came up to me. I immediately jumped onto him, wrapping my legs around his waist and my arms around his neck. In our previous life, he loved to hold me like this. Indeed, he still likes it in this life. One hand supported my buttock, and the other arm wrapped around my waist. I rested my head on his shoulder. He held me and turned to leave. Minute Linghua seemed to be daydreaming. I called her several times before she responded. She waved at me, telling me to go ahead and not worry about her. I understood her meaning. She wanted me to be alone with Reed Sheng. As we passed Lee Mui, he stopped Reed Sheng. "Where are you taking her?" Reed Sheng spoke coldly. "You have no right to ask. Put her down. Get lost. I feel a bit dizzy. What's going on? This plot feels so familiar. Oh, this couldn't be more like the situation of two men fighting over a woman. I didn't expect to experience something like this in my lifetime." I waved at Lee Mui. "Bro, hurry up and go to the hospital. Don't end up being lame." Lee Mui. He looked at me deeply, then without hesitation got on the stretcher of the rescuers. Reed Sheng held me and took me away from the rescue workers, so I couldn't see Lee Mui. I chuckled and said in his ear, "You are jealous. No, don't think too much. I don't believe it. Reed Sheng, you're hugging me like this, yet you still don't admit I'm your wife. If you don't want to be left behind, shut up. You just keep being stubborn. Husband, husband, husband." The rest of the journey, I kept calling him husband, and Reed Sheng didn't leave me behind. He just didn't speak. I just want to brainwash him, to make him get used to this name. I thought that after this, my relationship with Reed Sheng would officially become boyfriend and girlfriend. But he went back to his old way of ignoring me. I really don't understand him. He's so different from his past self, since I got better. Lee Mui started to pursue me fiercely. "I'm almost driven crazy. Myra Jong, please be my girlfriend." The classroom was full of noise, with whistling as well. I directly pulled Lee Mui out of the classroom. "Big brother, can't you be less conspicuous? I don't want to be famous." Lee Mui stuffed the rose into my arms. "If you want to blend in, then agree to be my girlfriend." I couldn't take it anymore, and asked my question. "Lee Mui, why did you suddenly want to chase me?" Lee Mui held my shoulders on both sides, leaned down to look me in the eye, and his expression was very sincere. "I fell in love with you the moment you came back to save me. I'm a bit dizzy." Lee Mui's gaze is too intense. He really seems to like me. I've decided to cut the knot and end his thoughts as soon as possible. "I already have husband. You are only 18 years old. You have not reached the legal marriage age. My psychological age has already come of age. I have already decided that Reed Sheng is the only husband in my life." Lee Mui's expression was very complicated. I patiently said, "You have good personality and looks. You have good manners and body. You have elegance and wealth, so you don't need to fixate on me alone. There are definitely many beautiful girls who like you. Does that mean I have no personality, no manners, no elegance, so they don't like me?" I couldn't bring myself to say it. I saw Minute Linghua and Reed Sheng coming to me. I immediately waved at them. "Wait until they came closer." without the slightest hesitation, hugged Reed Shung's arm and said to Lee Mui, "I and my husband love each other. I hope you won't come to see me again." Lee Mui resolutely refused. "Impossible, unless you put the marriage certificate in front of me. I'm so annoyed." Minute Linghua spoke up suddenly. "Lee Mui, Myra has clearly stated that she doesn't like you, and I hope you won't bother her anymore." Lee Mui let out a cold snort. "How, without me? Do you think you have a chance?" "I don't quite understand what Lee Mui is saying." Minute Linghua walked up to Lee Mui and grabbed his collar, saying coldly, "None of your business. If you bother her again, I won't hold back." Lee Mui pushed her away, adjusted his collar, and walked towards me, saying firmly, "Myra Zhong, I have already decided on you for this life. I won't let go easily." Before I could speak, Reed Shung had already answered for me. "I'm sorry. You won't have the chance anymore, because she can only be my wife." I stared at him in shock. "I feel like crying. It's too hard." Reed Shung finally admitted that I am his wife. Lee Mui clenched his fists, staring at Reed Shung with a dark expression. "Reed Shung, don't be too confident. No one knows who she will belong to until the end." I saw the situation was bad, and I pulled Reed Shung and ran. I silently said sorry to Minute Linghua. She was just defending me, and now I'm leaving her behind. I couldn't help it. I really wanted to be alone with Reed Shung right now. I took him to a secluded garden at the school. Before I could catch my breath, I couldn't help but kiss him. Reed Shung only froze for a second before pressing me against the rockery and passionately kissing me. In the end, lips were swollen from the kissing. I don't care at all. "I only have one question," I asked earnestly. "Reed Shung, are you really willing to be my husband?" Reed Shung didn't look at me. His eyes were a bit distant, but he still nodded. I was excited, but I started complaining. "You finally agreed. I was about to go crazy if I couldn't figure you out." Reed Shung asked with a smirk, "Do you really want to be my wife?" "Of course. My only goal in life is to be your wife. With this identity, I will never have to worry for the rest of my life." Reed Shung suddenly turned red in face. "Are you willing to be my wife only for my money?" I want to slap myself several times. I pouted. "How could that be? I treat money as dirt. I don't love money. I only love you." Reed Shung squinted. "If that's the case, after we start dating, I won't spend a single penny on you. Before marriage, I'll have you sign a prenuptial agreement. None of my assets will be given to you. After marriage, I also won't give you any money. You earn your own money and spend it yourself. Would you still want to be my wife then? In the previous life, give me the billions of assets. In this life, not even a penny is given to me. Why has it become like this? No money. I must study medicine seriously. No money. I want to take the postgraduate entrance exam. No money. I want to do an internship at a hospital and be free labor. No money. I want to be a doctor, work overtime all the time, work night shifts, become a bald girl early, and possibly die of a heart attack on the operating table." I pushed him away without hesitation and left. "A stingy husband. Who wants him can take him. I don't want him." I hadn't gone 2 steps when Reed Shung hugged me from behind. "Don't go. I don't want to deal with him. After we start dating, I'll get you a credit card with no limit, and after we get married, I'll give you all my money. Are you satisfied now?" I snorted and continued to say nothing. "As long as you are willing to be my wife, I'll agree to any request you make, Reed Shung. Only later can we train it gradually." Since that day, the two of us have entered a cutesy mode. Minute Linghua has been rarely with us. She said she didn't want to disturb our two-person world. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for her. Lee Mui never came to see me once. I am naturally happy. What makes me even happier is that Reed Shung is now very attached to me. I only remember that he was very gentle. In this life, I have met a different personality of Reed Shung, and now he makes me even more excited. After dating for 2 weeks, Reed Shung asked me to move out and live with him. I couldn't stop smiling. Reed Shung of this era is quite impatient. But that's exactly what I want. It's been a long time since I last rolled in the sheets. I really miss it. People really can't get too carried away. The day before moving, I was kidnapped. I woke up on a bed. My limbs were tied together in a tight knot. I was a bit scared that I would be left here, because I hadn't even slept with Reed Shung, and dying like that would be too unfair, seeing that it was Lee Mui who kidnapped me. I completely relaxed. "Are you not afraid? You are a familiar person. Why would I be afraid? Since you like me, I have even less reason to be afraid." Hurry up and use the knife, you have to cut the ropes off me. I'm in a lot of discomfort right now. Li Mui lifted my chin, a sinister smile forming on his lips. When Reed Sheng comes, I will naturally cut your ropes. I suddenly understood, so your target is Reed Sheng. You don't really like me, but him, you kidnapped me to force him into submission. Let me tell you, Reed Sheng is already mine. You won't be able to lay a hand on him. Li Mui remained silent for a long time, suddenly laughed. Myra, I really want to thank you. Just thinking about the days you chased Reed Sheng. He must have gone through extraordinary suffering. I'm happy. Ha ha ha, I'm getting more and more fond of you. I don't want to talk to someone with a messed up mind. Li Mui was lying on the bed, playing with a knife in his hand. I was tied up uncomfortably, so I spoke up. What are you trying to do? Can't you be clear? At least I saved your life once. Li Mui suddenly looked up and moved closer to me, his eyes flashing with madness. When Reed Sheng comes, I'll let him witness his most beloved woman having sex with me. Do you think he'll go crazy? I hit his face with my head forcefully. He covered his nose and stared at me in disbelief. I shouted profanities. Li Mui, are you stupid? How could you say such an disgusting thing? You better just be joking. You actually do it. I will definitely castrate you. Li Mui was originally angry, but suddenly smiled mischievously. Baby, if you've slept with me, you definitely won't want to castrate me. Because I will let you experience the most extreme pleasure. I glanced at his lower body and said with contempt, haha, it's 1/3 smaller than Reed Sheng's. Li Mui was completely furious. Myra Zhong, whatever you want to say, just don't say I'm younger than Reed Sheng. Which eye of yours saw that I'm younger than him? I'm definitely older than him, wearing the same school uniform. You really are blind. Indeed, you can't say that men are not capable. I had no choice but to salvage the situation. Okay, your thing is bigger than his. As soon as the words were spoken, 4 or 5 black-suited bodyguards pushed Reed Sheng into the room. Reed Sheng, with a cold face, asked me, Myra Zhong, you say your husband is not good. No, brother. Is this the time to be concerned about this? Moreover, aren't you the Beijing Circle's prince? Why did you come alone to save me? Where are your bodyguards? Reed Sheng answered naturally. Li Mui didn't let me bring any. He said if I brought bodyguards or called the police, he would harm you. I can't take the risk with you. Reed Sheng, why did you become so stupid? He didn't let you bring it. And you really didn't bring it. I ask you, how are you going to save me by yourself? Reed Sheng gazed at me with deep emotion. Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you. If something happens, I will die with you. I will never live alone. Should I be moved or should I cry? This idiot Reed Sheng. He was really awesome in his previous life, but in this life, he became a fool, fluttering. Li Mui got up from the bed, clapping his hands while teasing. That's touching. Reed Sheng, I finally found your weakness. It's been worth all these years of following you. I shouted, are you crazy? Why were you following my husband? I see, you were pretending all along. I was deceived by your deep feelings. I must have overestimated my charm. Li Mui smirked sarcastically. The day you came to our classroom, I wasn't actually asleep. I was watching you all along. I thought there must be something special between you and Reed Sheng, so I invited you to accompany me. When Reed Sheng saw that, he got really angry. He was full of jealousy. I finally found a way to deal with him. I decided to get to you before he realized his feelings, making him regret for the rest of his life. Forever loving you but never being able to have you. But that car accident, I truly fell in love with you. I decided to go along with the plan, but unfortunately, I was too late. Reed Sheng proposed to you, and the two of you got together. I will not allow that. Wait a minute, I interrupted him, asking in confusion, bro. Your imagination is over the top. Reed Sheng didn't have a crush on me that early. At that party, where did he get jealous? Reed Sheng suddenly spoke. Wife, I'm jealous. I don't know why, but I can't stand seeing you holding hands with another man. When I saw him holding your waist, I wanted to cut off his hand. This guy really hid it well. Li Mui shrugged his hands. You see, he and I are in sync. I know him inside out. I was puzzled and asked, you two aren't even brothers. How can you be in sync? Reed Sheng shouted at me again. Husband, he is my half-brother from the same father. Wow, it's a noble family feud. However, there was no such thing in the previous life. After many years of marriage, Reed Sheng never mentioned he had a biological brother. I'm a bit confused. Li Mui sneered. Reed Sheng, You really know about my existence. He waved at the bodyguards. The bodyguard beat Reed Sheng repeatedly. I was worried. Stop. Don't hit his face. Reed Sheng. Quickly cover your head. If you get ugly, I'll leave you. Bodyguard. Li Mui laughed out loud, then told the bodyguards to stop and looked at me. Sweetheart, you're too cute. Follow me, and I promise I'll love you more than Reed Sheng. Reed Sheng's mocking voice came over. Li Mui. She loves money. I'm the only son of the Sheng family. You're nothing. She can't abandon the rich for you. The poor. Reed Sheng is really head over heels for me. Saying such words, I nodded at Li Mui. Reed Sheng is right. I am a complete gold digger. I love money lebby than him. After a moment of silence, Li Mui spoke slowly. I am the godson of Lao Li from Beijing. He's respected in both the white and black markets, and after he dies, he will leave everything to me. So my money is no less than Reed Sheng's. And I can also make you the big sister in the underworld. I think Li Mui is a bit pretentious. I didn't know how to respond for a moment. Li Mui suddenly grabbed my face. Reed Sheng shouted, "Take your dirty hands off me." Li Mui let me go and walked up to Reed Sheng, kicking him. Why do you demand me? Why are you born as the beloved prince, while I can only hide in the dark corner? Why do you look down on me, always acting so superior? Reed Sheng said. How can I let go of Myra Zhong? Li Mui walked to my side and had his bodyguard hand a knife to Reed Sheng. If you stab yourself in the stomach, I can consider letting go of Myra. I didn't expect Li Mui to be serious. I don't want to become a widow while still young. I called out to Reed Sheng, husband, now put your right index and middle fingers on your navel. Reed Sheng didn't understand what I was trying to do, but he still obeyed. I'll continue to say, move down 5 inches. Move left 2 inches. Move down 3 inches. Then move right 2 inches. That's the spot. Aim the tip of the knife between your 2 fingers and stab it down hard. Reed Sheng suddenly looked up. In disbelief, are you trying to kill your husband? How could that be? I'm a medical student. If you stick it in this spot, there will definitely be no danger to life. You should trust your wife's professional ability. You seem to have told me you were a slacker. I turned to Li Mui and said, if Reed Sheng goes underwater, you have to keep your word and let me go. I never go back on my word. I turned back to Reed Sheng. Reed Sheng, if you're a man, you should listen to your wife. Go underwater right now, or we'll get a divorce. Reed Sheng raised his hand and plunged it down. The intense pain made him curl up on the ground. I consoled him. Honey, I forgot to tell you, you won't die, but it will be very painful. So bear with it. Think about our happy future. Think about our children. You must hold on. Reed Sheng looked at me with a resentful gaze. I felt guilty and didn't dare to look at him, then turned to Li Mui and said, now you can let me go, right? Li Mui smiled in an unusual way. Dear, I found you really interesting. I want you even more. Let's go to bed now. After Reed Sheng finishes the live stream, I'll let him go. I want to kill someone. But it's not the right time yet. I collected my thoughts and said, I can have sex with you. But you must send away your bodyguards. Of course. Li Mui waved to the bodyguard. My rope is untied. Li Mui was troubled. I don't believe you'll just comply. I shouted, are you crazy? Now Reed Sheng can't move. What can a helpless girl like me do? If you can't even subdue me, what else can you do? Also, my legs are tied. I can't even take off my pants. How can you have sex with me? Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up, cut the rope for me. Li Mui had no reply to my scolding and silently started to cut the rope for me. The limbs were quickly liberated. I rolled over and pinned Li Mui under me. Li Mui was shocked. What do you want to do? Nonsense. Of course I want to sleep with you. You look like a novice. You're not skilled. Let me teach you properly. I started unbuttoning his collar. Myra Zhong, stop it. You can't cheat. Reed Sheng's weak voice came. I ignored him and focused on unbuttoning my clothes. Li Mui looked at me with a dark expression. Do you really want to sleep with me? I leaned closer to his ear and said seductively, Makino, what do you think? I'm like this now. At the same time I spoke. My left hand ran along his arm and finally grasped the hand that held the knife. I blew into his ear. Don't move, let me take care of you. I felt his body stiffen and his expression became a bit dazed. Seizing the moment, I snatched the knife from his hand and stabbed him deeply in the abdomen. He let out a low groan, looking at me in disbelief. His face already twisted in pain. I got off him and said, Dash, don't worry, you won't die, you won't be able to move. And you'll feel 10 times more pain than Reed Sheng. I didn't waste any more words with him and rushed to Reed Sheng. Reed Sheng was also very confused. I bent down and kissed his lips, and he was even more confused. I grabbed the hilt of the knife on his stomach. And while kissing him, I quickly pulled the knife out of his stomach. He was in so much pain he wanted to scream, but I tightly sealed his mouth with my lips, so he couldn't make any sound. Seeing his complexion improve, I let him go and took off my clothes to bandage his abdominal wound. He looked bewildered at me. After finishing the simple bandage, I helped him up and led him toward the window. It's good that this is the first floor, and there are no bodyguards outside the window. Before leaving, I took a glance at Lee Muye. His face, besides the expression of pain, was also confused. No wonder he's the younger brother of Reed Sheng. His expression is the same. I didn't hesitate any longer and jumped out of the window with Reed Sheng. 2 hours later, my friend Reed Sheng and I ran to a remote grassy area. I was now exhausted, and Reed Sheng was even more so, lying on the ground. The sky was gradually getting dark. I don't know if Lee Muye has sent someone to chase us, but I can't run anymore. I decide to take a rest here. I checked Reed Sheng's wound. Nothing serious. I asked, "Are you still in pain?" Reed Sheng shook his head, suddenly saying seriously, "Myra Jong, be my wife forever. This life, the next life, the life after that, the life after the next, no matter how many lives, I want to be your husband." I was confused by his sudden proposal. "Why do you say that suddenly? Such a great wife can only be mine." I let out a laugh and kissed him, holding his face in my hands. "Honey, you're so cute. I adore like this." Reed Sheng pulled me into his arms and deepened the kiss, which was extremely intense. I quickly surrendered, lying limp in his arms. Reed Sheng now is even more intense than in his previous life. Prior, I managed to stop myself in time. I'm still on the run, and it's not the right time to sleep together. Reed Sheng looked unsatisfied. I laughed at him for a long time. He previously pretended to be modest, but he quickly revealed his true nature. "Haha, men. Get it fixed. We will leave soon." An hour later, we finally reached the main road. As long as we stop a car, we'll be safe. The car was surprisingly easy to stop. What got out of the car was Lee Muye and his bodyguards, Reed Sheng. But the enemy was not in the minority, and we were easily caught in the struggle. Reed Sheng was thrown into the middle of the road. I saw a car approaching from behind him, driving recklessly. I exerted all my strength to break free from the bodyguards and rushed towards Reed Sheng without hesitation, but I was still a bit slow, and as soon as I hugged him, the car sent us both flying. I could see the scene of my previous life being hit and killed. Before losing consciousness, I thought, heaven has been kind to me. In my previous life, my partner and I couldn't die together, but now we have, which is not bad. Too, I woke up again a day later. Since the car had already started to slow down when it hit us, I didn't break my arms or legs, just some minor injuries and a severe concussion. Reed Sheng has been by my bedside all along. When he saw me wake up, he embraced me tightly, tears streaming down his face. I was stunned. This was the second time I saw him cry. The first time was when I died in my previous life. I heard him repeating continuously in my ear, "Good, baby, you are not dead. You did not leave me again. Thank you, baby." I am very confused. The term baby is only used by the previous life's Reed Sheng to call me. The current life's Reed Sheng has never called me like that. Moreover, he said that she had left him again, and I had a bold guess in my heart. "Reed Sheng, are you also reborn?" Reed Sheng stopped, then let me go, bent down to look at me, and said gently, "You found out, baby, of course, you understand me best." I stared in shock. "When did you reincarnate?" "A few minutes after you." I was confused for a while, then I started yelling, "You bastard, you clearly reincarnated but pretended not to know me, acted so arrogant towards me, made me fake tripping, fake drowning, you're deliberately tormenting me." "Right," Reed Sheng said with a pout, "Baby, it's not my fault. Here's what happened. After you died, I was heartbroken and couldn't bear the pain, so I ran into the middle of the road and got hit and died quickly. After I died, I finally found you who was preparing to be reincarnated in the afterlife, because I looked quite handsome. The female judge of the underworld let me reincarnate too. However, there were too many people reincarnating, and I had to queue. I was at the end of the line, far away from you. I wanted to reincarnate with you, so I decided to cut in line. I got beaten up by other ghosts. Not only did I reincarnate a few minutes later than you, But my head also got injured, after reincarnating. I forgot many things, including you. However, the memory of my body remained. The first time I saw you, I wanted to kiss you and take you to bed. When I saw you hugging another man, I wanted to kill him. Later, even though I had forgotten you, I still fell hopelessly in love with you. Maybe because I was hit by a car in my previous life, when I saw a car coming towards me that day, I regained all my memories. Baby, can you forgive me? I took a long time to sort everything out. When I was reborn, there was indeed some commotion behind me, but I didn't look back. Reed Shung was really annoying. Why did he cut in line? If he had just queued up properly, I wouldn't have had to go through so much trouble chasing him, and I almost got hit by a car in the end. He's really the model of causing trouble for no reason. When Reed Shung bent down to kiss me, I quickly covered my mouth. Bro, I haven't brushed my teeth all day. Aren't you annoyed by the smell? Reed Shung pulled my hand and gently touched my lips. We're already old married couple. I'm not annoyed. I looked down on him. If you love me so much, why did you have to divorce me in the previous life? On one hand, it was because of Lee Muye. At that time, he had already taken over the Lee family. He threatened to deal with me, and I didn't want to drag you into it. On the other hand, your mental state at that time reminded me of my mother's before she jumped to her death. My father married my mother for her family's money. He didn't love her. A year after the marriage, he found his childhood sweetheart, and they quickly had Lee Muye. The truth couldn't be hidden forever. When my mother found out about Lee Muye's existence at the age of 6, she was greatly shocked. She questioned my father, and he confessed that he had never loved her. My mother went crazy and went to find Lee Muye's mother. Lee Muye's mother found out she had also been deceived by my father. She couldn't bear it and committed suicide on the spot. After her death, my father blamed my mother, and she developed severe mental illness, eventually jumping to her death as well. Because I was afraid you might also commit suicide, I decided to let you go first, and then find you again after your emotions stabilized. But I will never leave you. I will be watching over you from where you can't see. Reed Shung finally spoke, his face showing sadness and sorrow. I was already in tears. You're an idiot. How could I ever commit suicide? I was just afraid you would leave me. He kissed my eyes. Baby, don't cry. We'll never be separated again. I couldn't help it. I burst into tears, crying like a child. Reed Shung was flustered, constantly kissing me. After I finally stopped crying, I touched his stubble. Husband. You've become ugly. Reed Shung bit my cheek. Even if you've become ugly, you're still my husband. You can't leave me. I touched his head and sighed. Husband, I'm sorry. I haven't cared enough for you. Now I realize your fate was so tragic. Did you suffer a lot as a child? No, my grandfather took good care of me. And I have money. Actually, I'm doing pretty well. I pouted slightly, suddenly thinking of Lee Muye. What's wrong with Lee Muye? He and his mother are also victims. I don't want to be enemies with him. This time I will let him go, but if he continues to be stubborn about you, I won't show mercy again. I am confused. How did we get rescued? Do you really think I would go alone to rescue you? When we were hit, my bodyguard arrived just in time to save us. Haha. Your bodyguard arrived just in time. Only when we were hit. Reed Shung's eyes turned dark. Don't worry, I'll make them disappear from the bodyguard industry forever. At this moment, the hospital room door was pushed open. Seeing Minute Linghua come in holding a flower, I smiled. She wanted to talk to me alone, and I immediately sent Reed Shung out of the hospital room. Minute Linghua sat on the bed and touched my face, looking at me gently. I felt a bit ticklish, but I didn't push her away. Myra, I'm going abroad in a few days. Huh, why? Minute Linghua smiled helplessly. The person I love has found the best place to be, and I don't want to stay here and only cause sorrow. I was a bit confused, muttering to myself, the person you love. Minute Linghua suddenly hugged me and then kissed my cheek. I felt a sudden panic. Minute Linghua didn't leave me, but instead leaned down to look at me. Myra, you must be happy. I nodded absent-mindedly, because her eyes were too strange. I didn't know what to say. Minute Linghua kissed my forehead again. She stopped for a long time. The skin on her forehead was warm from her kisses. My mind is a mess now. Being kissed on the forehead by my rival, who wouldn't be confused, she finally let me go, but then kissed my nose tip again. I was blushing all over from her kiss. She smiled slightly and said, Myra, you're shy. I looked away, not daring to meet her gaze. She grabbed my face and made me look at her, asking, "Myra, may I kiss you?" Although it was a question, it was very dominant. Even if I was slow to catch on, I realized that Minute Linghua was a bit unusual, so I shook my head, no. Minute Linghua didn't let go of me, but slowly moved closer to me. I was so scared that I went stiff and my mind went blank. Fortunately, Reed Sheng arrived in time and pulled her away. Minute Linghua laughed coldly. Reed Sheng said darkly, "You're not allowed to see her again." Minute Linghua ignored him and smiled at me, waving, "Myra, if we meet again, I won't let you go this time." I only realized when I heard the door closing. Reed Sheng sat on the edge of the bed and glared at me. I asked in surprise, "Why are you glaring at me? I should lock you at home, then no one could covet you." I hesitantly asked, "What does Minute Linghua mean to me?" Reed Sheng pinched my nose. "Idiot, she likes you, and you can't even realize that," I gasped. "So you mean, Minute Linghua actually likes me?" Reed Sheng nodded. My mind went blank, and after figuring it out, I asked, "Did she also like me in her past life?" Reed Sheng nodded again. I immediately became furious. "Reed Sheng, are you an idiot? Why didn't you say so earlier? If I had known it was like this, I wouldn't have gone crazy in my previous life, and we wouldn't have died," Reed Sheng said, looking hurt. "When I found out, you were already not normal." I snorted. "No wonder you always block me from hugging her. Your jealousy is quite strong. You can only be hugged by me." I looked down on him, then sighed. I didn't expect my charm to be so great. Even the beautiful girl likes me." Reed Sheng twitched his lip. "Baby, don't get too self-absorbed." I twitched my lip and opened my arms. "Husband, let's kiss passionately." Reed Sheng immediately covered my mouth. An hour later, "Husband, I'm craving your body." "Good, you're still weak now. Do it after you get better." "Okay, call me baby once more." "Baby, my eternal baby."